All right, hello. Welcome back. Chase Thomas Podcast, taping this late on a Wednesday night. Last week when we had Brent Hubbs of Volquest.com, we got into Andy Griffith Matlock discussion. So anything's possible in these late night pods. I learned what a bushel of beans was from Brent because didn't know that was the way that you quantify how many beans are in a stalk. I thought it was a stalk. I don't know. I'm not ready for Coreyton farm life. But Austin Price is here, who I don't think is going to go down the bushel of beans rabbit hole. I don't think that's his area of expertise. Austin, is that correct to surmise there?
I would say that's correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, you just got back from what, Pebble Beach this past week?
Yeah, man. It's out in Pebble Beach. Had a chance to go out there and part one of my 40th birthday golf extravaganza, and so part two's next month.
There you go. What's your favorite part about turning 40?
Nothing.
Do you not like getting older though? At least a little bit. There's not part of you that does enjoy it just a tad.
I don't know. Because I guess I'm very reflective.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think big picture all the time, and I think the older you get, the more you think about your mortality. I had a buddy of mine when I turned 40. He was like, "Man, do you think we're at the 50% mark?" And I said, "I don't know, Brand. I could be at the 40% mark. I could be at the 95% mark. I mean, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to live each day. Not each day to the fullest is too big of a cliche, but I mean, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to live. I'm going to go do things. I mean, we're doing Alaska this summer, and we did,
okay.
My wife and I did Hawaii back in January. So, I mean, we're just trying to go different places and see different things and take the kids along the way. Now, the kids did not go to Hawaii, but that was a COVID 10th anniversary trip that was postponed by a couple of years.
How was that received in the Price household?
The kids were not happy. Grandparents came through like a couple of two sets of champs and watched them while we were gone, and it was good for me and Mama to get away.
There you go. But it's a whole family excursion to Alaska.
Yes, it is on that.
Okay. One. They're like, what happened here? What do we do wrong, Dad? That we get ousted from Hawaii and we're going to Alaska where we don't even know what time we're supposed to be up, when the sun's up, when the sun's down. They're wild moose. Are they into it? Are they excited for Alaska?
Yeah, we did Yellowstone last summer, so
okay.
they're big into the animal encounters. So they're excited to go whale watching. That's something we did in Hawaii, and in theory,
very cool.
In theory, I could see the same exact whale in Alaska that I saw in Hawaii because they go down and breed in Hawaii and then come back and feed in Alaska.
Okay, so you're the whale guy. Now we know where to go to with any whale questions, Volquest mailbaggers.
I just know where this set of group breeds and then feeds. I love. We saw moose last year. We saw a lot of black bear. We every time we happened to come upon a grizzly bear, it had just went into the woods or just went out of sight, and that was the one thing we missed out on at Yellowstone. But we saw everything else. We saw wolves hunt elk and all kinds of bison and coyotes and a lot of fun stuff.
Get close? Are you getting nervous? Like, are you ready? Like, what are you thinking when they're getting close to you in Yellowstone?
I get in my car. I don't. I'm not one of these people.
No pictures. No getting up. No selfies.
No, not selfies. No. Now, I'll take pictures. I'll take plenty of videos, but at a safe distance.
There you go. Well, Austin, speaking of just world traveling, the Tennessee Volunteers football team, they're world travelers on the recruiting trail because they get a big commitment, 4-star athlete, I guess is the best way to describe it. Do you know how to pronounce his last name? Is it, Okoye. Are we sure?
Yeah, it's Okoye.
It is Okoye. Okay. Very cool. So you get Okoye in here, who my uncles and all my Tennessee folks who are very excited. Just everyone's looking at the measurables. And I don't know if you're seeing that from Vol fans where everyone's looking at the basketball videos. Everyone, because if you're a good basketball player, then it's like, oh, next Tony Gonzalez, next superstar tight end here. So who is Emmanuel Okoye, and how big of a commitment is it to get him also in 2023 where he can kind of just redshirt and hide out for a little bit and learn the game? Yeah,
I mean, I think, again, if you're getting anything out of him this year, one of two things has happened. It's a bonus. And he's turned out to be way better than maybe anybody realized. and or you've had some injuries. So again, I think for the growth of him, perfect world, you just kind of let him blend in. Maybe get him in a few games. That's the beautiful part of the 4-game rule, and kind of go from there. But I mean, he is super long, super athletic. Now, again, does that equate to success? No, but there are some things that you can't teach, and he has those.
Is it wait, so when you look at Manuel coming into the fold here, like, did you see him reclassifying? Was that something that was always kind of
Yeah,
expected that he would
that
join
was
this class?
expected. Once he took his official visit, he told me that he was going to be a part of the 23 class.
Okay.
It was just about getting through his other officials and determining where he wanted to go. And the last few weeks, Tennessee's been the hard trend there, and we actually did his commitment interview before I left for Pebble Beach, and then he announced when the NFL Academy wanted him to, which was on Wednesday.
Is there a chance he plays edge? Is there or what? Can you give me a percentage though? I prefer a percentage here, Austin. Which way he goes?
I don't want to get into percentages. I do think I think there's a chance he could play anything. Again, I've said for a while I'm leaning tight end, but at the same time, I mean, if he gets here and they need help at a particular spot, let's say he starts on defense and they need help with tight end. That's why I lean tight end, just because they're a little bit thinner there on the whole than they are at edge. But if let's say he starts at tight end and they need some help at edge, you may see him end up there. I mean, again, I think that he's kind of a Swiss Army knife this first year as he figures out college life, as he figures out life in America, as he continues to figure out the game of football.
It is kind of funny that I think like Jonathan Echols coming in the fold, and where everyone like else wants him to be an edge, and he's at Tennessee wants to be a tight end, and it's like it's just wondering what those two guys might end up being at Tennessee. It's gonna be really fascinating to monitor once they're on campus and they start going through drills and figuring out what where they fit, because two super athletes that a lot of Tennessee fans are very excited about. Does it change how Tennessee's looking at the 2024 tight end class, getting Okoye in 2023 at all, or no?
No.
Okay. Franklin, and also another name that I don't want to mispronounce it. You guys have talked about it on the podcast. Williams.
Nwaneri.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Franklin falls in the next week, or Franklin falls soon here for Tennessee, does that mean Williams is probably not happening, or is there still a chance that both happen here?
No, I think Tennessee would take both those kids in a heartbeat, not blink an eye. You can never have too many good defensive linemen, and so that's kind of where I'm at with that. I mean, Cam's a guy I think is going to take his visits, and we'll see where things go from there. I think there's still plenty of twists and turns in that one, and Nwaneri, he's a little more focused in. I mean, at Tennessee and Oklahoma, I mean, there's a few other schools that I think have a legit shot, but they'll have to really show well on their official visits. I think the Vols and Sooners have kind of stretched the legs out, away from that pack behind them.
Who do you think is the leader in the pack right now as we're recording this on Wednesday night?
I think Tennessee's had the momentum. I think he really likes the Vols. Again, if you were going percentages, I would go 51-49 Tennessee. But I think it's super close. It's super close, like Jaden Riddell's super close. There's several of those that, could go Tennessee's way, could not go Tennessee's way. And again, it's not about getting them all. It's about getting your fair share.
What does that mean for the class? Like, let's just think that they get both here. Does that put them in the top 5 potential range for 2024 if they get both?
I mean, if you get both those kids and you can somehow, you land Amari Jefferson, and then who knows who else at receiver. I mean, a couple of good running backs, Peyton Lewis, and who knows who else. Sure. I mean, Tennessee's going to be, right up there, fringe top 5. And that's without a marquee quarterback. And that's not shade on Merklinger, because I think he's fantastic.
Still top 10.
He's just not rated number 1 like Nico was, right? So if you're a top 5 and you're without the number 1 overall player like you had a year ago, what's that mean you've done? You've increased your star rating or your average everywhere else, which is a great sign.
That's interesting. I am very curious to see what ultimately happens here. And it's just been kind of cool to see, because I think a lot of folks were kind of nervous about like how defensive recruiting was going to go in the Heupel era, and just you're seeing these names pop up and you're just like, oh, like Williams and Nwaneri, like he has not been on the radar, right? Like it just kind of came out the last couple months where it was just the big name, just this 5-star defensive lineman. You were like, Tennessee won't be in play for him, and then you just see, and it's like, oh, it's between Tennessee and Oklahoma, and you're like, wait, what? That's cool. I'm excited for that.
Everybody had him pegged for Oklahoma, and then he just genuinely likes Tennessee, and all of a sudden they've risen up the ranks for him.
What do you think he likes most about Tennessee? Is it the scheme fit? Is it what he's seen? Is it the atmosphere? What do you think it is?
I think it's the people. I think he really likes the people here, and I think that resonates. And I think having Emmanuel Okoye, I don't think that hurts either.
Who have you been most impressed with on the recruiting trail over the last year on this coaching staff?
I think they kind of just do. There's been spurts, I mean, Halsley will have a good spurt, and Kelsey Pope will have a good spurt, and Brian Jean-Marie will have a good spurt, and Rodney Garner's kind of steady Eddie. And, I think, Brian Jean-Marie does a really good job. He did a really good job last year. He's a nice compliment recruiter too. Super intelligent, well-spoken. I think they tandem recruit really well. I'm not sure that they have any just dogged recruiter. Everybody's gonna say Rodney, and I get it. Rodney's done it at a high level for 30 years. But I don't.
Maybe Willie.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's more they just tandem recruit really well.
Interesting. And it kind of speaks to the family atmosphere, right? Like they're all kind of on the same page, and it's just all across the board. It's more of a communal effort.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that. The next offensive commitment will be which position for Tennessee, do you think?
Running back.
Oh, I think okay. How soon do you think?
Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. I like it. Matthews, Jefferson, Harrell, over under 1.5 end up in this class for Tennessee.
Man, that's tough. I want to lean over, but realistically, you could miss on all three, and realistically, you could hit on all three. And I know that's kind of in like both sides, but I mean, that's why I think Jefferson's so important. He's an hour and a half down the road. In-state kid. He's already committed here for baseball. I think he's super, super important. And then if you can land one of the other two, I think you're rolling. And if you hold on to J.J. Harrell, great at that point. If not, you can go find somebody else. I mean, I don't really worry about receiver so much. Although I do think that with this class, you need to have a couple of high school kids, at least 2, if not 3, because you're likely going to lose Dante Thornton if he has any kind of good year, like they're hoping he has. Ramel Keaton will be gone. Brew McCoy will be gone. So then it's kind of Squirrel White and then a bunch of unproven guys.
Yeah.
So, I think that building through the prep ranks is the smart way. And then if you can cherry pick in a nice transfer like they did Thornton or Brew the last couple of years, then that's gold.
Do you think that's why Chaz Nimrod and Caleb Webb are still here? They just see the writing on the wall with the guys leaving after this year, and they're like, that we should have an opportunity for real next year.
Well, they're only at the end of their freshman year. I mean, to leave would be dumb on their part. To leave on any freshman because they didn't play enough their freshman year, to me, is dumb. You're not giving it a real shot. That's probably part of the problem I have with this generation is they're too quick to tuck tail. Like, I'm not saying that every situation is the perfect situation. And sometimes you get yourself into a situation that, isn't best for you. But, some of these kids, just because, they're not given playing time right away, they want instant gratification. Any kid that leaves that quick, it's either because, they got frustrated, somebody got in their ear or something. I mean, it's, again, those guys should still be here. They just wrapped up their freshman year and they're heading into their sophomore year. Now, they don't play much this fall and they want to look at leaving after this fall, then sure.
But even if they don't play, you could still pitch. Like, there's a lot of dudes moving out the door here.
There is, and that's right. And again, I think that's why, your receiver rotation has to be a little bigger. Can Chaz Nimrod give you what Ramel Keaton gave you last year? Remember, Ramel was realistically the fourth receiver, right? Like, it was really Ced, Brew, Jalen. And then Ramel ended up getting extra playing time because Ced's injury. Can Chaz Nimrod give you that? Or similar production to what Squirrel White did? It'll just be out of a different position as far as reps. So, I think, those couple of guys, Nathan Leacock as well as a true freshman, they need to spend this year really focused on improving, getting better, see what they can get as far as playing time, and work to be the guys in 2024.
How big is it that Mike Matthews is going to Tennessee last for his official visit?
I'm not sure. Sometimes that last visit is huge, right? And sometimes it just doesn't matter. I'm not sure it matters in this recruitment. I think he likes Tennessee a ton. If you ask me who his top teams would be, I would tell you USC and Tennessee, Clemson, kind of the three. Clemson, a lot of people thought it was Tennessee and Clemson, but it seems like USC's kind of caught and passed the Tigers. Tennessee seems to be the one constant.
So it's either like if he stays close to home, it might be Tennessee. If he's okay leaving, going across the country, it's USC.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good way to put it.
Interesting. Makes me feel good. Also, I'm a Parkview alum. We went to the same high school. Like, all things are good here. And on Orange, there's the orange checkerboard in the Parkview end zone. Like, he's already gotten used to it. Like,
by the way, the last time we did this, was your head buzzed as much as it is now?
Yeah.
Were you wearing glasses then? You look different.
The glasses are different. So I'm wearing like I guess I'm doing the Paul Feinbaum thing. You never know what pair of glasses that I'm gonna be wearing on any particular interview here, Austin.
You just go to Costco and get a bunch of readers.
Oh, actually, I have Warby Parker. I'm very particular about my frames, Austin. Very particular. Can't do it. And I'm not old enough for readers yet. I'm not at the point where I need readers. It's just okay. No contacts right now.
About my polos. If you saw me walk into one of these pro shops, I'm like, "Where's your Peter Millar?" And they're like, "There it is." And I'm like, "That's not a very big Peter Millar section." Like, I don't care about your Nike shirts over here in the corner. Give me the good stuff.
What's your, like, if you had to buy anything in bulk at Costco, anyone who knows you, what would they guess is the thing that you would buy in bulk from Costco?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I buy in bulk. I bought TVs at Costco.
Plural.
Food items. They have those waffles that have the little chunks of vanilla in them.
Okay. There you go.
Good.
Also, Costco is the sneaky best lunch option. Like the dollar slices, dollar hot dogs. Like, I don't know how they make money.
Them and Sam's Club, you can eat there really cheap.
Yeah, that's true. Kellen Lindstrom, was he a sneaky under the radar guy that folks need to remember going into the next couple of years with Tennessee, where it's like he just kind of is in the middle here, but he's a pretty big name and he has a lot of upside? Do you think he's someone that Tennessee fans might overlook with some of the bigger names in this class?
Yeah, it's easy to, right? Everybody's going to think about Nwaneri and think about Kam Franklin or some of these other edge guys. Lindstrom just kind of steady Eddie. Commits early, doesn't want all the pizzazz, just kind of, goes about his work and, gets it done. So, yeah, I think that's definitely a guy Tennessee fans should be paying attention to long term.
Last thing here on Tennessee, and we'll wrap up here, Austin. Memorial Day, the whatever it's called, the Palooza that's going on.
865 Live this year, but that just, I don't like that name either.
It's not very good either.
Lose the 865 Live.
They're just making up as they go. They're just throwing stuff at the dartboard and hoping one of these sticks one of these years. It really doesn't matter, right? The main thing is getting kids on campus. Like that's
right. It doesn't matter. You're right. They can just call it recruiting weekend, and that, as long as they're getting, a bunch of these 4- and 5-star guys here, that's all that matters.
What's the most surprising part about that? Because I feel like that's the one event every year now that Tennessee fans know happens on campus and it's like a big recruiting thing. What's one thing that goes on that's kind of important for recruiting?
What do you mean?
Like just in terms of like the weekend and what the Tennessee puts on for the kids and what's involved.
Atmosphere, man. They do they go over to the golf facility. They did that last year.
Huh.
They just do different things, and and so it's more of just a big hangout, family, let's get to know each other. It's very little about the recruiting process. You know, if Alec Gableman's hanging out with Jonathan Eccles or Jaden Riddell, I don't think he's going full in on, hey, listen, here's our opportunity. This is why we're the pick. This is why we should hold on to you, Eccles, or this is why we should land you, Jaden. Like, it's more just kind of like, hey, let's get to know each other. Let's hang out and have some fun, do some different things. And kids love that kind of stuff. I mean, all athletes think that they're golfers. About $1 for every time that a high school football player told me he was good at golf. And then I'm like, oh, let's see you swing one. And then they do. And you're like, yeah, that's not it.
Who's the best one you've seen recently?
Golfers? And normally it's kickers.
Huh.
Specialists are normally pretty good at golf. That and quarterbacks.
Yeah. Does Nico golf?
No, he does not. Worley did.
Okay.
When he was here, and he could really pound it. I watched him about drive the 13th hole at Holston Hills a few years ago. I mean, he was pretty good golfer for a guy who had not taken the game up, that long ago.
Does Heupel golf? Does he have time for anything?
He has time. In May to do a lot of things. But he's more of just he's a football junkie, man. That's all he wants to do. So he's in the office a lot. So when he gets out and he goes out and hits balls, or goes out and plays 9 holes with his daughter, he plays golf and really enjoys it. So he plays, but it's more recreational with the family member. He doesn't play, just regular rounds of golf.
We're not going to see him at a charity golf event.
I don't think so.
Interesting. All right. Well, I like it. Volquest.com, Austin Price. Always a pleasure as we go here, though. We always got to get a new fact here, Austin, from the different folks over at Volquest. Brent and we had a lot of fun at the last 15 minutes of our show. We're not going to go that long. Just Brent just busting my chops about my Matlock photo, the Andy Griffith stuff, and all that. But my question is, what's your nightly routine, Austin? Are you a night owl like Brent? Brent's over here till 2. What are you doing?
I'm a huge night owl. I'm a huge night owl. I'm up. I mean, I go to bed anywhere between 12:30 and 2:30.
Okay.
And but I wake up with my kids at 6:15, 6:30 to get them ready for school. So,
are you getting a nap in during the day?
Very rarely. Very rarely.
Man,
occasionally does happen. But it's rare. My wife thinks I do, but too many phone calls.
Yeah.
I do, and I'm big into NCIS.
Okay.
I love NCIS. I could watch, I could watch Gibbs and Donoso and all those characters.
Are you watching it post Gibbs?
I am. I didn't think it could last, but it's still good. Is it Gary
Cole?
Yeah, or Gary. Yeah, he's done a fabulous job on there, and they've done a nice job with the cast. So I've enjoyed that very much so, and then it's been good. I've enjoyed the relaunch of CSI Vegas.
Okay.
But I love Andy Griffith. As a kid, I loved Dukes of Hazzard. Love Saved by the Bell. I enjoy TV. I love 24. That's probably my all-time favorite show.
Okay.
Big Jack Bauer guy. But so I enjoy television. I enjoy the characters. I always laugh on the general's quarters, like when they're talking about a movie or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, the character arc, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, character arc. I'm like, did it entertain? How I view it is, I look at character arcs on TV shows. In movies, I just did it entertain me? Was it entertaining? Like, I went and took the kids to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I thought it was good, not great.
Okay. It's 3 hours, right?
Like 2.5.
Tough sell for me.
For a trilogy ender. I mean, I thought it was good, not great. But it still entertained me. It kept my attention, and the latest Top Gun was fantastic. That thing drew so many rave reviews, but it was justifiably so. The music the characters, how it was written, all that.
Interesting. Okay. Are you a big? We have the Regal Unlimited, so we're always popping in. You might see me at any time, like at any movie. So I'm there all the time. Big movie guy. But are you at the movies all that often, or is it just really
No,
for
man,
kids?
I'm not. I mean, I'll take the kids. Like, I would go watch
Yeah.
this new Mario movie out just because, I mean, that, a lot of people are saying, if you grew up in that generation, like, it's
Yeah.
very nostalgic, And I
Are you
love.
a Mario guy? Did you play Super
Oh
Nintendo and all that
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
I'm a, I'm big on nostalgia. Like,
Okay.
like when they did when they do like I won't say a reboot, but like when they do like a reunion thing, like
Mm,
I sound like Dukes of Hazzard or Andy Griffith, and those are two shows that 20 years after they ended, they came back and did like a 2 hour special, like
you're in.
yeah, and oh yeah, man, I'm in on those things, man. I mean,
Mm,
I love that stuff. It doesn't matter if it's not what it once was. It honestly takes me back to when the world was a better place. The world right now sucks. So, like, no, I mean, like, look at all the stuff that's going on around us. Like I'm seriously, like, I can watch I'll get on my Facebook page and
mhm,
there's some channel on Facebook that they'll post Dukes of Hazzard episodes or Andy
mm,
episodes, and I just watch those, and I'm like, man, the world was just a better place back then. Like,
yeah.
I like take me back to the '80s, take me back to the '60s.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I know there's civil rights movements in the '60s and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I just we're in a world where it's every day I shake my head at the stuff that goes on both sides of the aisle.
I want that clip to be the opener of all my episodes now. The world sucks. It's just the deadpan, Austin. That was funny. I did not see that coming. I love it. So Austin Priceless on Twitter. Find all the good folks over there at volquest.com. Make sure that you are tweeting and posting on the General's Quarters as much as possible about some percentages going into Memorial Day weekend. For Austin, he can never get enough of those kind of questions. Austin, thank you so much for the time as always, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Chase. Thank you, buddy.
Well done, nephew. Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.